guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a while. I have been really busy moving from Washington to Louisiana. So we're going to get back on track with the YouTube content for you. Today we're going to do a question and answer. Just go over a lot of questions that I get on my Instagram page. I try and do a question and answer there every Wednesday and answer your questions for you guys. So I wanted to do it on YouTube so you can have a longer format and it'll always be here, and so you can refer friends or anyone if they have a similar question. Some of these questions could probably be their own video, but we'll just touch on them and give a quick answer to them, and maybe do a full-length video specifically on that issue down the road. So first off, I get asked all the time for suppressor suggestions. Which suppressor should I buy? Should I get a full size or a K? Should I get a 30 cal or 5.56? What brand should I use? So we'll dive into that. We'll start off with 5.56 or 7.62. Real simple answer to that. If you don't have a 7.62 gun, or you don't see yourself getting one in the next year or so, then I would just go ahead and buy the 5.56 gun. Currently, E-forms are about 3.5 months. So you'll have your can for almost a year, if you don't plan on buying a 7.62 or 30 cal rifle down the road. So if you do have a 7.62 and a 5.56 gun, then yeah, if you want to save some money, then go ahead and just buy the 30 cal can, because you can run a 30 cal can on a smaller caliber such as 5.56. And most companies will make, pretty much all of them will make a muzzle device that you can put on both a 5.56 and 30 cal gun. There'll be different thread pitches, but you can mount your suppressor on either rifle. As for should you get a short can or a K configuration, or get the full size version, that really depends on barrel length, and I'll just make a recommendation for ARs. If your barrel length on your AR is 14.5 or less, I would just get the full size can, just because 5.56 doesn't really suppress well, just because it's a lot of pressure and it's moving so fast. So you're going to want more baffle and more volume in a shorter barrel, because there is more pressure and more to suppress basically. And my goal when I build guns, specifically build ARs, is to keep the overall length as close to 16 inches as I can with the gun and the suppressor combination. So if you're longer than 14.5, obviously I'd had a full-size can, like I believe the Surefire RC2 is about 6 inches long. You're going to be way over that 16-inch length. So if you have a 14.5 or longer, then I would go ahead and just get the K can. Another aspect of that is weight. The RC2 full size is a whole pound. So if you're putting a pound, 16 inches in front of you, or 14.5 inches in front of you, that the front of the gun is going to be very heavy. So just get a K can if your barrel's longer, and get a full-size can if your barrel's shorter. As for what brand to choose, there's a lot of reputable options out there. Of course, we have Surefire. Silencer Co. has been around for a while. Dead Air makes a decent can. I have seen some issues with those, though. That said, they do have a great warranty. CGS coming out with some really good stuff. JK Armament. And OSS has been around, a little something different than your standard baffle design. They have a flow-through. They just rebranded as Huxworks, and their cans look pretty sweet. They don't have the best sound reduction, but less blowback and less gas in your face. So I think they're tailoring more of the company to a safety company. And if you really think about back pressure and all the gases being sent, especially in a direct impingement gun, that could affect your lungs and breathing over time. But choosing a can is really based on a few things. Sound reduction, not so much in 5.56, because it's not really going to matter. Your ear can't really tell the difference between 1 or 2 decibels when you're at that sound level of 140-ish. Tone is a bigger deal. So if there's a can that you want or you're interested in, hopefully your friends have it, or hopefully a gun store has it, that you can go and listen to the tone, one that's more pleasant for your ears. Then you have mounting solutions. The muzzle device, is it QD or is it thread-on? If you have a rifle like an AR, I'd just recommend getting a QD, because you probably have more than one rifle and you're going to want to switch that suppressor and take it off easily. Then you have point of impact shift, which most suppressors are pretty good about this nowadays. It should be less than 1 MOA. And then you have weight and materials, which you're kind of getting down the rabbit hole of this should be a full video going over what suppressor to use. But there are obviously, you'll see everyone using a lot of the same suppressors. So I chose to go with the Surefire. It's been around for a long time. It's, seen plenty of use in combat, and they have the SOCOM contract. But yeah, we'll probably do a video just on this, just to dive in it deeper and give you more information to make your decision. But good resource right now is actually Pew Science. He's doing all of these sound and pressure studies. So if you want to make your decision based on sound, I would highly recommend checking out his website and his Instagram page. The next question I get the most, and it's gotten to the point where it's gotten really annoying, is what barrel length should I choose? And now when people ask this, they're not asking, should I get an 11.5 or 16 inch, two different lengths that are far apart. They're asking, should I get a 13.7, a 13.9, or a 14.5? It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. One, you need to decide, first of all, what the philosophy of use is going to be for that rifle. Do you want a shorter barrel for CQB type environments that's going to be maneuverable, and you're in a setting like an urban or a neighborhood where your longest shot, you're not going to have to take a 600-meter shot? Then you should be looking in, the shorter barrel length, obviously. And for that, I'm just going to say it, get an 11.5. Because more reliable than a 10.3. And once you go past that, if you're using a full-size can, it's going to be a little longer than 16 inches. So I think personally 11.5 for short barrel with a suppressor is the best setup that you can get. Now moving to the longer side of this scale or the spectrum, in the 14 to 16 inch range, I think personally, if you want to do it all type gun, I think 14.5 is probably the best length. You can throw a mini can on there, and it's going to be a little over 16 inches, but it's still manageable and still maneuverable enough in the structure. And you're getting that extra velocity to make those shots out to 500 and 600 yards where you'll still have good ballistics. Now, obviously, the NFA comes into play, and anything under 16 inches is a short barrel rifle. But honestly, no one cares about that. If you're smart about it, no one's ever going to know. And if someone asks to see, you just kind of tell them to F off and leave. You're better off just buying a barrel length and go train, because the difference between 1 inch of barrel between 11 and 16 inches is only about 70 feet per second. Now, if you're telling me that you train enough at distance to notice a difference at 350 to 400 yards between a 14 inch and a 13.9 inch barrel, I think you're bullshitting. So don't get caught up in the barrel length discussion. Just pick one and train with it and know your rifle and its ballistics. All right, next question I get pretty often is, how do I get involved in it? Now, starting an Instagram page and following along people that are in your area is a great way of reaching out to them. It might take a couple tries, because obviously meeting strangers on the internet and you're meeting them with everyone has guns is kind of a little weird if you don't know them. And plus, you got to be respectful of other people's time. Figure out the people that you want to associate with and where you want to go in your training. Do you want to shoot competition? Do you just want to shoot the tactical kind of stuff? Do you want to shoot long range or F-class, whatever? Go to events where that is happening. Go to your local range. Most local ranges will host some type of match, USPSA, whatever. Just go, even if you don't shoot. Introduce yourself, be personable, and have a little confidence to put yourself out there. And you'll find pretty quickly people that are doing the same thing that you are and are where you want to be in your training. So hopefully they're nice and hospitable enough to offer to take you out to the range or let you tag along. You can start building more contacts like that. I've introduced myself at gravel pits in Washington when I heard someone shoot bear solutions drill. Literally 9 o'clock was when you could start shooting in the morning. And right at 9 o'clock, I heard people in the other pit or other bay crank off a bear solutions drill. That was when I just moved to Washington, didn't really know anyone. Introduced myself, and eventually we became really good friends. Hopefully around you, you have a local gun store that isn't a fudge shop. As for me, when I was in college, I used to go to this gun store all the time. First year of college, my grades sucked because I would just skip class and go to the gun store and talk to Nate. He's Drumstick59 on IG and YouTube, and we would just talk about guns. So hopefully you have a gun store that's pretty solid. You can go there, and I'm sure the guys that work the counter know people that are in the community, somebody that wants to do the same type of shooting you do and is interested in the same type of things. And last but not least, just be a leader. Take the initiative to, plan a range day, set a date, put it out there, people will come. Because a lot of people don't want to take the time to sit there and write a range plan. It really only takes 30 minutes. Pick something that everybody wants to work on. Take 20, 30 minutes out of your day and give dedicated time to writing a range plan to work on the skills that everyone would like to. But you even don't have to do that now that T-Rex has their course of fire out. Like me and my group down here, we literally just said, hey, we're doing the pistol course of fire, the T-Rex pistol course of fire. So we all showed up and ran through the pistol course of fire. Next month, we're doing the rifle course of fire. So there are other resources online and drills that you can do. So just put those and, about 2 hours worth of content and go out and go train. It's that simple. So there are plenty of ways to get involved in your local community. It all takes just having a little bit of confidence and putting yourself out there. The last question I get is, what plate carrier am I running? Because it is an older type. It's still made. It's the Mayflower APC. I did do a whole video on that setup, and I'll link it right here, but we'll just hit on some points. Mayflower was a company back in the day, Mayflower Research and Consulting. Velocity eventually came through and picked them up. So the APC is still made by Velocity Systems with a few updates. I've had mine since 2013, I believe, and it's been rock solid. Hasn't had any issues, and it's strong, it's comfortable, and it holds what I need it to and fits my mission pretty well. On there, I've got swapped the cummerbund out for the Coyote Tactical Solutions, got the elastic bands. So I shoved my radio, I have a battery pack and some flex cuffs in there. And then for the placard, I'm running the Haley Strategic chest rig. But again, I have a full video on that setup. If you're looking for different plate carriers, Spiritus, the LV119, Pharaohs, FC PC, I believe. And then if I had to buy one today, I'd probably buy the Shaw Arc. It's just really well made. It's laser cut now, so I'm a huge fan of that one. But that's it for this question and answer. We'll stop it there. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.